So, essential question, how do we convert between forms of equations? The biggest topic is converting equations. So far, let's just recap what we've done. We know two ways to identify simple real-world problems. I say real-world, simple problems. Everything's complicated, but these are simple problems. Like if I have an hourly wage, and I want to get so much money within a month. And so those are simple problems. We're not going to throw in your bills with it yet. But anyway, descriptions are as follows. So rate of change times number of units plus some sort of base pay or subscription fee. Sometimes things have subscription fees. And then equals some sort of total cost. The other way was just recent at the beginning of this. So again, this rate of change times a set number of units plus another rate of change times the other thing we're discussing. We had Stitch Fix this week. We had, we did talk about Uber and the different numbers of Saturdays versus Sundays. So whenever we start talking about two different things, we've got to keep those rate of changes in mind. And we had to change the Y variable to be in terms of, it's just whatever our total is in our box minus the other one. We're going to learn how we're going to solve an equation for Y. So what we're going to do is break up our notes into two columns. We're going to call this a two-column proof. We're going to start with something that looks like ax plus by equals c, and then eventually I want this into slope-intercept form, where y is isolated by itself. First step, move the x term. And right now we're going to use subtraction. So when I subtract ax to the other side, it goes away from the left side. So first I move the x term, then I divide everything by b. Notice how on the left side, when you divide by b, it goes away. When you divide it on the right side, you have to make sure you divide everything by b. But it's not in slope-intercept form. So what I'm going to do is just move these two around. First geometric proof. We just rewrote. Again, that's not what you're going to see next year. You're going to have a new word there. But let's notice something. Question is, what do you notice is in the place of the slope and the y-intercept? So to start piecing things together, the reason why we even do a rewrite is to sort of maybe develop formulas. Sometimes you could develop formulas where if I need to identify a slope, I could take the opposite of, that's what the negative means, take the opposite sign of the quotient, the A number divided by the B number, whatever's in those places, that would develop your slope. If you want a shortcut to figure out the y-intercept, if something starts off in standard form, the y-intercept is just going to be the c coefficient, the c constant divided by the b number. Those placements. We're going to convert this standard form into slope-intercept form. This is your very first problem. It's letter A. But what we're going to do first is move the x term. Move the x term, so instead of 2x, we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. By the way, I'm a big fan of showing a line of equality where, I'm going to do something on one side, something to the other. You might have seen that. You might not have seen that. Then I'm going to divide everything by -3. Make sure you divide everything by -3. One of the reasons why we might like this is if you're a stronger grapher in slope-intercept form, you like to start at -2 on the y-axis and then move up 2, right 3, up 2, right 3. Sometimes this strategy is helpful. All right, let's do this again. Letter B. So in the next example, I'm going to draw my line of equality just to keep it straight. You're going to move the 3x first. Divide by 4. All right, so last one, we're going to move x first. Divide by -5. Couple rules with standard form when we go the other way. No fractions. Absolutely no fractions. Then we need to make sure the x term isn't negative. So it could be 0, but it just cannot be negative. That's true standard form.
I have a question.
First step, we're going to multiply everything. Multiply everything by whatever is in our denominator. Whatever's in our denominator. If we have one, we're going to multiply everything by that denominator. So multiply everything by 2. So I'm going to completely distribute that 2 everywhere. So the first step, get rid of your fractions by multiplying both sides by the denominator. Then you're going to move your x term. Move your x term. So I'm going to add 1x to both sides. So we have 1x plus 2y equals 6. We make sure that the very first term doesn't have a negative sign. I could have just said x plus 2y equals 6. That's acceptable also. So let's do it again. Distribute the 4. Divide everything by 4. Get the 3x to the other side is what I meant. Whoopsies.
That was good.
Can't have a negative x term. We're going to divide both sides or everything by -1. So we've got positive 3x minus 4y equals 8. Those of you who like a shortcut, some of you like a shortcut. If I ever need to divide everything by -1, it just changes all of their signs. So last one, we don't have to get rid of a fraction. We just got to get the x, move the x to the other side.
We don't have a B.
Sometimes 0 pops up. We still have to pay attention to the rules. No fractions, no negative leading coefficient. So divide everything by -1. All I needed to do on practice A was add 2x. Practice B. For C, this is currently in both forms. So because it is in both forms, you just keep it as y equals 3. Because technically, the x term is not negative. Do you know what the x term's number in front of it is? It's technically 0x plus y equals 3, so it's already in standard form, and it's already in slope-intercept form. Slope is just 0. All right, laddies, gents, and ladies. Let's talk about Khan Academy.